how many conversations I've had with teammates of mine a decade after we've been done playing ball, and even longer since college, obviously, graduated in 2009. And I have friends who still live with regrets from their playing career.
Oh, it's the
And
saddest.
they ask me about it. I'm like, man, honestly, I am so far removed from the person that I was then that I don't have any regrets. And maybe it's because I just lived that way. I knew in the moment that I was doing everything I could do. And even if it wasn't the right thing to propel my career forward, for example, if it was, I wasn't eating the right thing, or if I was drinking on a weekend, or if what,
Yeah.
it's like those weren't the best decisions to help propel me,
Right.
but I don't regret any of those
Right.
because in the moment that's what was fulfilling to me, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I needed. And I'm just so far removed as the individual and the identity that I had as an athlete, and I just feel for those guys so much who are
So
still,
much.
what if I would have, what if I would have, what, because you can't, like you said, there's nothing you can do. I guess
No.
the only thing you can do is reframe that mindset and be better moving forward.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Gosh, man. So let's wrap up with this, dude. This has been an awesome conversation. Thanks so much for coming on and
Oh,
giving your
thank you
time. You
for
had
having
mentioned
me.
earlier, it's like, dude, I don't even know how you find. We've been going for an hour and 17 minutes. Probably had 10 minutes before we were on. I don't know how you even found 90 minutes in your day. I don't know. But thank you to your wife, and thank you to all your kids for giving me the opportunity to have this conversation and be able to hopefully reach people in my ecosystem that you wouldn't have reached through some of the other conversations you've had. But
It's an
I
honor, man.
mentioned I mentioned off the air the reason I started this almost 2 years ago when my daughter was born, because I wanted to have just a video library of information for her to be able to get through, because I know and it would be 10 lifetimes for me to really feel like I could give her all the information that I've learned in
Mm.
my 40 years of being here. And so, let's say 30 years from now, your kids all, everybody's together and they're pulling up. They're probably not even a TV at that point, but they pull this episode
Hologram.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a hologram of us literally having this conversation in person. What do you hope that they say about Dad after they finish watching this podcast?
Oh, wow. I hope that after, if they were to see this podcast or just in general talk about me,
Yeah.
I hope that they reflect on the now. So like 14, 12, 11, 11 and down, that I spoke life into them, and uh, I spoke a future into them and a belief in them that they didn't even see at the time. But I hope in 30 years they're looking back to say, like, my dad talked to me about this. He saw this in me then, and I can't believe I'm living into his vision and what he knew to me knew to be true in me as an 11-year-old, as a 14-year-old. And I think if I can name that in them that they don't even know in themselves yet, give them, in other words, an identity that they don't yet see, but in 30 years they're watching this and say, he did that for me. I am who I am today because he spoke life into me in that way, and now I've lived into that. I think that would be cool. That would be, yeah, a life well lived.
You'd feel pretty good about them saying that.
Yeah, because I know that they're growing into who they're created to be that way.
Yeah.
I think it's has nothing to do with me being like a fortune teller or a prophetic word or anything. It's just more that I encouraged them to grow into who they're created to be because it's something I saw in them that they didn't know in themselves. And I think like the scariest thing for me is to imagine not becoming everything I'm capable of. And I think of it like this is not like biblical. This is just sort of an image. If I were to die and I go to the pearly gates and God holds a mirror in front of me, I've heard this said by Ed Milet before and I stole it. He said, if God hold a mirror in front of you and it's a reflection of who God made you to be, and you're sitting there staring at that reflection and you don't know who that person is because you don't recognize them,
Mm.
that to me is like the scariest life. Well, that's what I'll have nightmares about. So the flip to that is I look at that reflection and it's me. It's exactly me. And that's where I know like I've 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 lived my life to the max capacity. And if I can encourage my kids in such a way to do that now, and in 30 years they're looking, they're like, dang, I didn't even know that I could do that then, but he did. Then I guess that would be an awesome I guess that would be an awesome thing they could say.
Yeah.